Well, hello there, RX team. It's an honor to have you on board here, and as well as on the call. I'm going to go through a couple of things with you here. I want to share with you some of the things that's working. Each one of these calls, I somewhat do different things, and a lot of times it has to do with, what I was engaged with, at some point during the last month. And so I just want to walk you through some of the things that are going on, and what's working. Well, number one, me. I'm kind of running around like crazy. I've had this little to-do thing, and I was just closing all the windows on my computer so that it didn't slow down my hard drive space here on the webinar. And I, the dialog box inside of Outlook pops up, and it's got this list of to-dos that, and one of them said clean my office, and I think I did that last month. It was when I set that thing, and it's like, 28 days later, and I just kind of giggled because who has time to do that? And that's kind of the way my life has been going here. I want to just couple of things. Some of you know that, and I spoke about it briefly last time, and I'm also going to speak about it briefly here, is that I'm doing a test marketing campaign, and I'm very, very adamant on not putting out something that doesn't work, that has poor conversion rates and things like that. And so I've been working on this thing in a targeted audience of men 40 to 80 years old who kind of want to be all that they used to be and more, and want to lose the blubber, which is considered phase 1, and so that would go through a series of protocols of the SlenderX diet, all the products that are in the clinical trial, and then they're educated on how to never allow it to happen again. And I'm doing this because I feel as though that number one is there needs to be a program that the whole world knows is, okay, so all the other ones are yo-yo diets. You go on them and you go off of them and so forth. And I want this one to be known as the one that if you want to lose it for good, this is where you go. And the other one is that from a business model standpoint, there's nothing worse than being in the diet industry because there is an on-off game. There's a time frame there. So that's the reasons that I want to do it this way. And so I go through a series of education processes, and right now I'm recording the webinars that I do. I'm doing 2 a week with this group of 30 people, 30 men who are 40 to 80 years old, who have weight to lose. And then I'm educating them so that it never happens again, meaning so that they never fall off the program again. And it's going extremely well. I think that the average, we were on day 19, and the average fat loss was 17 pounds. And so that's off the charts insane in terms of effectiveness of them losing weight. And then in terms of the interest level and the amount of people who show up, all those things is tremendous. It's almost always 100% and that show up on the webinars. And so it's going really, really well. This is phase 1. Phase 2 is to, once they've lost the blubber, then it is to get their joints in shape, get their core strength together. And then they, once they get that phase done, that's phase 2, they'll move into phase 3. Phase 3 is where they increase muscle mass. For this age demographic, this is the greatest youth, anti-aging, get new years on your life, good years. There's nothing that turns a man's clock back faster than gaining muscle mass. And it seems to be Mother Nature's alarm clock that says, oh, he's eroding. He's losing muscle mass. It seems to be that Mother Nature looks at muscle mass as the indicator as to whether to commence the downward spiral, the disease spiral, and to decay out. And Mother Nature must have done this from a survival standpoint of the species, not the survival standpoint of an individual. And so, so what that means is that Mother Nature will get rid of the dead wood and give life to the new. And it seems as though that Mother Nature looks at whether or not you're gaining or losing muscle mass. So then that's phase 3. Phase 4 is to increase endurance and agility, mobility, and then phase 5 is a very elite phase, and where there's kind of upper tactics, upper level things. We'll do very fun games. You will go on, I don't know, survival fun things, survival courses, shooting courses, gun shooting courses, race car driving courses, fun things like that. And so what it is that it is something that people can look forward on. They can play the game all out, and it's not just, I'm going to try these drops. Right? It's the opposite of that. It's giving people a place to go. So that's just a little bit of an overview of that program, and it's going extremely well. And I don't mean to cut anyone out. It's not my intention to cut anyone out. This was a whole prospect thing. I just ran an ad and recruited a group of people who wanted to participate in this game and be the test market for it and things like that. So I'm not cutting anybody out of it. But so what's the alternative to that? Put everybody on it, and then what it is that it's a test operating program, and I'm distracting the field where it doesn't have proven conversion and anything like that. So this is the way that I play this game, so that I'm not distracting people. So in terms of the success, I would have to put it at it's beat my wildest dreams. So there you go. I've had 3 individual people, fly out to the company, and on their dimes, and they've met with the company, talked to the leadership, and making decisions as to whether or not they're going to come here and bring their teams, or things like that. And you would think that I've heard it all. I live here in the same state as the home office. I'm about an hour drive away. I go down there, when some other people have brought prospects in, and and I'll talk with them and such. And I've gotten to hear Fred, a few hundred times, and I've gotten to hear Mark, and I know what he's going to say, and I know what Jeff Riley is, Jeff Yates and Riley are going to say. And one particular thing happened. I was sitting in this meeting, and some things sort of occurred. Like I'm listening, and I'm not hearing some of the same conversations that I've always heard. And it was just a very, very different conversation that I was listening to. And to put it in Laura's words, because she was sitting beside me, I was vibrating. Like I literally didn't want to waste any more time sitting in the office, because I had to get out of there and go and recruit. That was the feeling that I had, and that there was not time to just sit there. Either these people are going to do it or they're not going to do it. I'm out of here. It was that sort of a feeling that hit me, and so I want to give you some of that information. There's a lot of weakness in this industry. I've got my thumb on it. I always have, and I have watched company after company whose leadership have, it may look in the public relations, the PR that people are doing out there, it may look like it's thriving and, and unbelievable and all the hype that you always hear. And, but in the meantime, while that hype is going on, I'm over here talking to leaders, or somebody in the teams here are talking to leaders, and things are aren't good. And where are they going? Where are they going to go? And that's the sort of the thing that I am realizing is that whether it's the specific timing of all of this, and I don't want to name names, because if I ever, if it was recorded and it came out, then it would look really, really bad that Tim Sales, an industry person, is making these comments. But I know I know most companies out there. And so there's a lot of weakness is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you from the standpoint of RX hiring from the financial teams of these places. In other words, they work in accounting, and so they're looking for another job. Why are they looking for another job? Because of the lack of integrity that's going on, that they are demanded to do things that they feel as though that are unethical and illegal, and they're unwilling to do them any longer. Okay, in other words, they have been doing it because they were afraid to lose their job, but now they're looking elsewhere. And it is interesting that they're looking at us. Leaders, bonuses were set aside and have been set aside for years and years and years for them, and now the company has swiped them. You know, these types of things are going on in the industry. And so there are a lot of lost leaders right now. All right? They're lost. They're fumbling around. And these are the ones that are now speaking. These are the ones that are now hunting. It is, you know, it's no secret once a leader does leave. But what you may find interesting, it is when the first movers begin to look around and sniff around and things like that. It should alert everyone that that this is what's going on right now. Like that this person is not just as an individual disgruntled with the decisions of corporate. It's not the individual. All right, it's a lot of people, and they just they want to, you know, come with team intact, if you will. Had a conversation with a potential person, and this was one of the leaders here on the call, put me on the phone with him, and he began to tell a story. And his story was in the neighborhood of that, you know, they have a product, and they had shipped over some to another country, and they were making around $40,000 a month. And then the company got suspicious that all this volume must be going somewhere else, and so they suspended this gentleman's account, meaning cut off $40,000 a month. And so what, you know, and I think it's 4 months now that he has been in wait. And so just how long can a company possibly, I mean, retain somebody like this? In other words, you know, like right now, he is in submission. Okay, so if you were to ask yourself, what's he feeling? You know, like what's his attitude? Right now, he is licking the lint from between their toes. He's so begging. And he feels cowardly. All right, like that's what's going on. And he's not moved to anger yet, just so you know. In other words, it's like, you know, oh, you know, I'll supply you whatever you need. You know, let's hurry up and get this thing back, and let me get my check back. But what he doesn't know is this is the evilness of the industry. And when I say that, I'm talking about outside this company. He doesn't know that this is actually a tactic that they use to cause a person to go down onto their knees and accept any, not even peanut shells. They'll accept any peanut shells at that point. And to me, this is the most disgusting thing, and it's the reason that I did not join a company until RX came along. And so some people take this thing we call the Bill of Rights and act as though that it's just a little thing on a brochure. And I'm telling you, it's everything. Because I sat there on the phone and I said, well, let me tell you something. First of all, there wouldn't be no suspended check pending investigation. Not the way it works here. You'd get a phone call, maybe from legal, maybe from the president of the company, and he would just simply say, what's going on? You may be putting us in legal jeopardy by sending our products over there. We can open up an investigation, but I'd like you to just talk to me and tell me what's going on. Right? Like, that is what you do to partnerships. Suspending your account until investigation or during pending investigation. That's something that you do to an enemy, not to a partner, not to someone who is moving enough volume that you would make $40,000 a month. And this is something that is very, very near and dear to my heart. And so, under the subject of what's working, the Bill of Rights is working. It's a heck of a story. And that story impinges on the most powerful people in the industry. The people who, retailing a product or two, the Bill of Rights doesn't hit them very hard. But for the people who move mountains, this hits pretty hard. Before I go into something that I've been showing other people, new people that I'm bringing in, I wanted to just share with you that as I sat there and I listened to Jeff Yates talking, he was talking about what they are doing to get ready for China. And in his conversation was when I started vibrating. My whole body was in somewhat of a little bit of a tremble mode, because as I listened, it's such a foregone conclusion. In other words, it's already occurred. We just have time as the thing that's suspended. It's kind of like a rocket ship that has launched and it's heading towards the moon, and it's gone through its difficulty, and it's just a function of time before it arrives. In a very similar way, I sat there and I listened, and I realized that what they had done, the investments that they had made, the relationship investments that they had made, is that we are highly anticipating and will probably achieve what very, very few companies achieve, and that is the right way to get into China. And those that do it right, typically in the first year, they'll do approximately a minimum of $150 million if it's anything like the past. And so that would put this company next year somewhere in the $250 to $300,000, $250 to $350 million company. Boom. Just like that. And you say, oh, well, that's over at China. Well, I would say to you, quit whining. We have it right here. What they're trying to get over there, we'll have it right here. We already have it right here. And so what I saw immediately was, boom, we're going to be a billion-dollar company. It's just, like I put this out in January when I was at the event out in Los Angeles. And I said, I saw it. I saw it when Fred was talking, and then I saw it when I was sitting there. But what I didn't realize was how fast it's going to happen until I heard Jeff talking. Mr. Yates is his name, not Jeff. And so that spurred me to really want to go at a much faster rate. All right, so I've been doing something when I'm showing new leaders that I'm just now developing. And I'm showing them what I recommend. Having now been working the compensation plan, when you see a compensation plan, especially when you see the thing from Fred, it's a blur. And then the 10th time you see it from Fred, it is still very, very fast. And I still didn't get it. And so I start working it. I just kind of said, okay, it seems very, very good to me. But now that I've worked it for a while and I see some of these if this happens, if that, where do I put this person? What about that person? What about this group? And then, how is it all related? So I want to just share with you what I am telling my people, the new people, and so I just thought that I would share it with you. And I'll give it to you just on a slide here, and then I'm going to see if I can't shift over into a graphics program and do some sketching for you, just so that it's perfectly clear. And so if it was written out, I would say build 2 income positions, and then lock in, and the reason you're doing that is so that you make sure you lock in your matching bonus, And so in other words, in order to earn 7 levels deep on matching bonus, you need 2 income positions. And then build a third position, or put third position in and go wide under it. All right, now I'm going to give you an alternative in just a second. Okay, so what it is that when I'm talking to people, they'll say, you know, how do I make $1 million a year? And so let me show that to you. If this right here is U1, meaning you, income position 1, and this right here is you, income position 2, okay? And so what I recommend that you do is this would be your power line, and then this would be your pay line. You optimize that. That's number 1, okay? So what that does is that guarantees you making $100,000 a year. That's first and foremost, get it done and move on. Put your second income position underneath your pay line, and then there's that power line, and then here's this pay line. And once you get it built, go wide. All right? And what that means is that here's number 1, here's number 2, here's number 3, here's number 4, and then this one right here would be number 5. 5 income positions equals $1 million a year. All right, I said that wrong. 5 pay lines. And so, you know, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. So 5 income pay lines is going to make you $1 million a year. All right? And so now I'll go over and I'll sketch that out for you. So what that looks like is that if this is your power line here, and so it's going to run, and then this is going to be your pay line. Now let me just talk to you a little bit about some of the noise that you hear as soon as somebody comes in the business and how I actually handle it. And so what happens is that they'll start talking to me about their team or their person, or, you know, where do I put this person? And, you know, it's really, really confusing because we're calling something a power line before it's built, right? And we don't know it's going to be a power line. And so I have listened to the noise of this thing so many times that it now it giggles me. It cracks me up because I remember having the same questions when I first came in. And every bit of advice that I got from Mark and Fred and Jeff and Riley and then Steve and I would try to figure out what it would look like, and you know, none of it has worked out. In other words, here's what you do. You start, you put somebody here, you put somebody here, you put somebody here, you put somebody here, this guy starts running, and you say, sweet, and so you start building like that. So in other words, what I'm trying to tell you is that you can plan and plan and plan. This person's so incredibly capable. Back in 1942, they were able to build a company, you know, half of Amway. And, you know, well, that guy doesn't do anything. Or in other words, I'm trying to tell you is that if you try to create this sacred zone out here that you can just pop in these beastie leaders, I'm not seeing it. It just, sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. And when you sit there and you waste an enormous amount of time and concern and everything else, I just say start building. That's my advice to you, because you really don't know who these people are. If there's a, you know, real big chance, you know, okay, good. Try to put them on another leg. But if they don't work out, then you put a competing leg there, and now you're going to be running from one side to another instead of always working in 1 or 2 organizations. Lock in your $100,000 a year income by just, you know, like you go and you just keep building one-on-one, one side one, you know, okay, so if they're family members, put them in the same one or whatever. But you just keep on going one-to-one until one outruns the other side. And then you just play this back-and-forth game, right, until it optimizes, right? So that should help you. I know that, you know, it's the most important thing in the world when you're talking to the people, but my experience so far is that the longer that I spend there, the longer time they will spend in trying to figure this thing out. And my experience so far is that none of that time has been worth it. Okay, so you have a power line and a pay line. Okay, and so as you build this and then it optimizes, this one should have started running a little bit faster there, and so you end up working here until finally it optimizes, and you get that $18,000 or 13,334 points in volume there, and now you've locked in that $2,000 a week. So what you now want to do is take your income position that they give you, put it there, and then guess what? Put one on the left, one on the right, one on the left, one on the right. Okay, you can start off with one on the left, one on the power, right? And so if you really, but you don't know what one is. So that's the reason I do it this way. And so when one starts running a little bit faster, I say, okay, good. And so this here is going to end up being my pay. And so when that one has optimized, here is where you start building new pay lines. Okay? And if you're wondering how I did the math on that, you would have basically 5 lines that you're being paid $2,000 a week on. And then you have roughly in the neighborhood of about $6,000 a week in bonuses. And then about $3,000 a week in matching. Oops, TCH. And then and you're going to be making about $2,000 a month, not week, in a luxury bonus. So the $6,000 a week here are your pay line bonuses and your income position bonuses. And so that's where that math comes out of. And it comes out to somewhere in the neighborhood of about $1.2 million a year. But in terms of the strategy of the way that I'm doing it here, where I will come down here and build this way, is because what we're ending up doing here is that we are creating, if this is the power, then what we end up doing here is creating incredible strength and ensuring. So if we locked in an income position, what we really want to do is lock in an income position. And by putting 4 lines there, or 3 lines there, then you're definitely locking that in. And so so that's the strategy that of how to make $1 million a year, and it's what I'm kind of sharing with people. There's a little bit of confliction, just so that you know, with getting the 4 lines when you come in and you get an elite pack, and so you have 4 lines. And this is a conversation that I have with people who are real leaders. And I normally say that all of the kind of the spare volume, if you will, and that would be customers or whatever, all that spare volume is going to be put into your auto balanced over into your other pay lines that came off of there. And so if you have, and anybody who wants to do the campaign once it launches, anybody who wants to do the 3X campaign, my wife is working on one called Healthy Moms Fat Loss, which is basically taking my camouflage version of the thing and painting it pink. Not really the colors, by the way, but and so she's doing it in that category, and it'll be very much a customer acquisition and programmed that way. So any volume that you get like that, then you're going to be compensated really, really well in the auto balancing world for doing that, and that volume will spill over there, and we'll pay you a lot more there. Okay, so now I want to shift back over to PowerPoint. So now let me talk to you about how to lose $200,000 to $500,000 a year. Okay? So sometimes you motivate people by telling them what they can get. And then sometimes you motivate people by telling them what they're about to lose. And the best that I can figure it, if you wait just 2 years, 2 more years from now, if you were planning on building $1 million a year business, if you wait just 2 years, then it'll probably cost you $200,000 to $500,000 a year and the right to call yourself a founder in this company. Because the Founders Club will probably, and I'm talking probably minimum numbers, pay you $200,000 to $500,000 a year. And so if you were planning on creating $1 million a year income, I would recommend that you do it now, because it may just double that if you do it now as opposed to 2 years from now. Because the founders get selected based upon the size of the business that they build and the country that they build it in. And so if you want to wait, then it'll cost you. All right. So what I want to do now is I want to open up the lines. If anybody, I can't open them all up at once. If you see the little dialogue over there and you want to raise your hand and ask a question, I can unmute one at a time and be able to answer any questions that you have on any of the stuff that I've talked about. Mr. Steve Schwartz, I see your hand pop up.
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, this is crazy. Just so I want to give you the picture. I'm driving in my M5 BMW. Just came out of a meeting with Deanna, and I'm watching the webinar. Well, I'm not. I'm watching the road, of course. But the webinar is on my iPhone, and I'm listening to you talk, and one really get your. It's right in front of everybody. I heard Todd Rowland talk about it. I heard him say, you know what? There's going to be a few people that build this company from, $1 million. It's going to take a couple of people. They may not even be here yet. Sorry about that. They may think they definitely can be in the company, right? And I think it can be us. And I know you're so fired up. I mean, I just talked to you a little bit ago. Seems like a minute ago. My gosh. But I was just talking to you, and you're fired up like I've never seen before. So, and I've known you for quite some time, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. You're not even drinking that much coffee anymore, and you're all jacked up. So, so this is big, and this is key, and I hope people just heard that last conversation about that founders. Yeah, we took some arrows over the last couple of years. We've had some people come in and not last. They basically kicked up a bunch of dust and acted like they were somebody special, and turned out to be, it just wasn't ready. It just wasn't for them for whatever reason. And, the people that stuck through it and the people that are here now are going to massively, massively change. Every time I hear Deanna start talking about what we're working on, it freaks me out that we have like multiple MLMs going on within RX's brands. And so it's crazy. And what we're doing with product quality, no one's touching us. So I just love it, and it's time to grab the brass ring if you're out there and really take advantage of it. So I don't know. I'm looking over the Pacific Ocean as I'm driving here, and I'm doing a webinar on my iPhone through my speaker Bluetooth.
Oh, we definitely know that you're on your iPhone. It sounds like you just drove off into the water. It's like that's awesome, man.
Okay, well, we were trying.
I know, yeah. Well, thanks a whole lot for everything that you said. I think you matched my enthusiasm almost, and because I'm seriously fired up. I've not felt like this in forever, so it's really, really fun. Thanks for that. Anybody have any additional comments or questions that you want to throw in? All right. Steve Walton, how are you, sir?
Good, Tim. This is Steve Walton.
Yes, sir. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I just wanted to thank you for this webinar. It kind of touched home with me, and I just appreciate everything you're doing.
Sweet. Got any questions about how to get to $1 million a year?
A lot of them, but I think the bottom line is just getting out there and and making it happen. And I agree with you. In the beginning, I was trying to figure out sort of the magic bullet in terms of being able to structure it, but it's, there's that great organic quality to it, and I think the main thing is just to keep building your company and keep it going until it happens.
Beautiful. And I would just echo one little thing here, and that is that if you set your sights just in the same kind of a way, in other words, there are so many people trying to guess why this new campaign that I'm doing is working so well. All right, there's a lot of guessing that's going on. One of the components that I have witnessed myself in any kind of a weight management scenario is that I don't focus on the next target. When I sketch out what I want to do, I'm focused on who I really want to be. And then I back that up with like phases or targets. And then that way, so the slide that I have up in front of you, if you know how to screen grab, which it's normally up in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, there's a little tiny like photograph or a camera-looking thing. If you'll just click that, it'll snapshot that picture right there. Okay. Snapshot that thing, and it'll save it on your desktop, and then print it out. Throw it up on the door into your office or on the way out of your office, or whatever you want to do. But I wanted to give you guys this picture because what you should be focused on, you're getting to where that green line is. Don't focus as if, oh my gosh, I can't get my 2 people to work, right? Because if that's your focus, the reason I'm saying this is because in the program that I'm building, I'm always reminding those guys in this team about phase 5. Now they're on, this is week number 4. They're in week 4 of a 5-phase program that's probably going to go 7-8 months. I keep focusing them on phase 5, or like in this conversation, I'm telling you to focus on the green line. That's the last one you're going to build. You see, the way that I've been able to like really go after big things in my life is go after big things, and it's not just so much putting the idea there, but it is I gotta knock out the blue line here, and then I'll knock out the red line, and then the orange line, and then the purple line, and then I'll get to the green line. And it'll probably take you twice as long to build that the green line as it will all the other ones combined. And the reason being is that that's the end of your goal. Okay? And so if the end of your goal is optimizing one line, then I can tell you that you'll take forever to do it. And so it's just the way that I work. It's kind of a trick I feel that I do, and it's the reason I know the reason why this thing's having so much success is because I've got everybody focused out on phase 5 instead of thinking about that they don't have any carbs today. You see the difference, Steve?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
And so I wasn't intending all of that for you. I was intending all of that for everybody, but you just happen to be the receiving end of it.
No, it speaks to me, so I appreciate the feedback.
You got it, buddy.
All
Raise
right.
your hand if you have anything else you want to bring up, bud.
Okay, you got it.
Unmuted.
Hey, Mr. Billings, how are you, sir? Oh, man, really good. Yeah, it was all a theory comp plan, right? That was what it was. When he was sketching it out, it had some proven pieces. Binaries have worked in other places, and stair steps have worked in other places or uni levels. But so I looked at it from a theory standpoint, and any company looks at them when they're brand new is, can we get this beast off the ground, right? And now that I've worked the comp plan, I've seen where I have residual income, and I've seen where I've built what I call naked legs, and that is that, let's say that I have U2 on the screen that you're looking at. I've got U2, except I have my power line built, but I don't have my pay line built. And so now, as much as I want to complain about that, that's of course breakage to the company. But what it is for me is that it's been a learning experience about how that occurs, where I have a naked leg, and I've got two of them. And so what it does is that I now know how to work them a little bit better, and to make the most out of them. And I wouldn't change a single thing, because every time the way that it's happened is that I've got a sheer focus, and I'm helping to build some person that I brought in, and then that line ends up running and taking off, and then somebody over somewhere else, right? So I remember when Queenie came into the organization, and I knew how powerful of a leader she was, and so I wanted to immediately jump in there and help. And so we ended up blowing that line completely out into where it's optimized. And then I had another person come in the organization. I wanted to jump over and help them, and so that's all that happened. And they just happened to be on separate lines. And so, but there's none of those things that I would have changed, because I work people. I don't work comp plans. And for those of you who have been around since day one, you've heard me say that. And so this comp plan works easier and better than anything I have ever worked or ever seen work. And so it's the comp plan's gorgeous, and Fred Cooper's a genius. And I have been able to see where it's if you watch YRX, and I say it's 35% more than any comp plan I've ever seen. What I don't get to tell is why that's the case. It's too rude to the industry is the reason I didn't put it in there. But it just merely has to do with whether or not a company, they put an asterisk. There's asterisks all over their comp plans, and those asterisks basically hide where the company is stealing the volume. And so they'll say you earn 7 levels deep, or until your first bronze, or they'll say it something like that. Well, what does that mean? Well, the bronze is kind of your mid-level person. And so the company is saying, I'm going to pay you on all of your duds, the people who are not leaders, and I'm not going to pay you on your studs. And that is not the way you ever want to have a compensation plan. You want to line up all of your top leaders, one on top of another on top of another. That's what you want. That is your long-term residual income. And so that's what this comp plan does. It pays you 5%. I always call it 5%, 7 levels deep, but it's 15%, 10%, and then 5% down to the 7th level. But it pays you all of that. And as a matter of fact, if there's any of those, people in between that are, quote, bronze or something like that, you're earning on all those people. And if they end up with a real stud below them, you're earning on that one too. And so it really is a genius compensation plan. I hope that some of you that just made vice president and you're saying, oh my gosh, I just retailed some products and I made it to vice president. This guy's killing me. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I know that this is the way Fred Cooper used to talk to me, and I didn't understand a word of it then. And so I hope you guys are getting it. So there you go, Rick. That's what I'm seeing so far in the comp plan. Yeah. And you were around the very beginning. You heard me say I won't work comp plans. I work people. And I just brought a person who came in from a very heavy compensation plan that you have to build 12 people wide in order to earn 6 levels deep. All right? We have to build 4 wide to get 7 levels deep. Yeah, that was ridiculous. So awesome. Good talking to you, Rick. Thanks for speaking up.
Muted.
Speaking of Queenie.
Hi, Tim. I'm so happy and so inspired tonight because as my background, I'm not very sensitive to the numbers. So after tonight's training, I can tell my leaders the way you coach us. And I really I have the direct feeling that company, when I come to see Mark Wilson, Fred Cooper, I think, oh, I have to join now. I cannot wait. So I'm really excited about the Founders Club, and I'm building Chinese market. After I talked to you yesterday, and I talked to my leaders, and then now they are very excited. So thank you so much, and we are so lucky to have you in RX.
I'm glad you have Tim too. I'm like super happy, and I'm really, really happy that that you came on board. I really, really am. You've been a tremendous asset to us, and yeah, I would definitely recommend you work China. It's your native language, and you don't have to have me going, what? Huh? Could you say that again? I'm so sorry, Queenie. Could you say it a third time? Oh, darn.
Don't worry.
If her.
You...
like it's the way.
Yeah. All you need is stand there, and you talk your language. I talk my language. That's enough.
Very good. Yes, exactly. It's tremendous. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else have any questions or any comments? All right. Well, then it is my honor to serve you, to do anything that I can with you. If you've got ideas, if you've got something that you feel as though you would like us to talk about on these conference calls, the leadership calls, let me know. All right. So you can just send an email right straight into to support there, and just say recommendation for Tim Sales conference call, and they'll forward them right over to me. And so just let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about. But this one here, it was one of those things where I'm sitting there thinking, and I asked my wife too, and I said, babe, what do you think the leaders need to hear? And she goes, well, I'll tell you what fires me up. And I go, what? And she goes, seeing your excitement, seeing that you're up out of bed at 5 a.m. and I walk out there and you're on a conference call, to Netherlands, or you're always hammering it out there, and I think, man, does the guy ever take a break? And no, there's not right now. I will, but not right now. And so that's why I decided to share this with you. And so I hope that it helped make your life a little bit better. So with that, I appreciate you being on the call. I'm going to unmute the lines here, and you can say goodbye to your teammates.